Hello, this is Dave from MiraScreen, and I'm going to try to make the Mavic Mini right here connect to the DJI goggles. Just a side note though, the MiraScreen might also work with other drones that use a cell phone. So as long as you've got a cell phone controlling your drone, you could probably fly drones like this one right here, the Dramata series hover shot, and there's many others in the series, or like this simple FPV drone here, which also uses a cell phone. So many drones could probably work with this setup as long as it uses a cell phone and you cast it to some goggles. So the DJI goggles normally only work with OcuSync to some of the other Mavics like my Mavic Pro. But with the Mavic Mini, you don't have OcuSync, you just have Wi-Fi. So the way to connect these all together is I've got this thing right here called MiraScreen. Now I saw this in another video where somebody was connecting this to a Unique set of goggles from Unique. And they're fairly cheap. I think you could get them secondhand for $100 or something and do it that way. But since I already had the DJI goggles, which have a HDMI port on the side, I decided to try it with those and just see if it would work. But the DJI goggles aren't the only goggles that work. As I said earlier, there are some from Unique that will work, or basically any HD goggles that have an HDMI port on the side of the goggles right there. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is I have a little connector here, and I'm going to connect that onto the end of the MiraScreen like that, and this end goes in the DJI goggles, and it's a micro HDMI. And let's see, I've got a little manual here that I can follow, but I've tried this several times with a TV, which I could also show in the video. But the next thing to do is to plug it into the side of the DJI goggles, plugging the MiraScreen into the side of the DJI goggles like that. The next thing we need is we got to have some way to power it. So on the other end of the MiraScreen, we have the Wi-Fi antenna thing here. Whatever that is, that's your Wi-Fi adapter. And then this other cable is for the power. You got to supply USB power to it. I have this little USB power bank right here. I've got several of them actually. Here's another one. Things you use to charge your phone with. And I'm going to plug that in, and then we'll get a light right here. A blue light right there on the MiraScreen. So we know that's on. Next thing is we need to power on the DJI goggles, and that's your normal DJI tap and double tap. All right, and they're coming on right now. Let me see this camera here, see if we can see. There it is coming on. There's the DJI logo right there, and there's the first screen. Now that screen there is coming from the MiraScreen adapter, the wireless adapter, and it has actually at the top your some information about your password, which is 12345678, I think. Next we need to mess with the phone. Go ahead and connect the Wi-Fi. Now I've connected this before, so I'm not going to have to enter the password, I don't think. We'll see. All right, there's MiraScreen. Okay, so I've already entered the password, which is, if it does come up, it's just what was on the goggles, 12345678, and I've already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and connect. All right, so now we're connected. I won't have internet available for me, that's normal. Okay, now we'll go back to the EZMira app, which I previously downloaded. You can get that on the Play Store. Just type in EZMira and download it. Okay, here it is now. And the next thing we need to do is, you can just ignore that Bluetooth adapter there, the Bluetooth symbol, because we're not using Bluetooth at all. If I come down here, you can see it isn't on right there. Okay, so I'm going to go to Miracast/Chromecast, which is over here on the left. And then I'm going to click Connect. All right, turn on screen sharing. All right, it says MiraScreen connected. All right. All right, looks like it might be working. Now I've got to go back and touch the goggles, make sure they're on. Just touch the button on the bottom. Okay, yep, it looks like it's on. I can see the screen from the phone. All right, now we'll go into the DJI Fly app, which is what we have to have. All right, that's coming up now. I can go sideways with the phone now because DJI Fly will go sideways. Okay, there it is. Right there you can see the screen. All right, but it should stay on there all the time once I connect to the aircraft. So let's go ahead and connect to the aircraft. Going to turn on the Mavic Mini. Pardon me, I forgot to turn on the controller. Okay, now we can connect to the aircraft. Hopefully. Now that's coming up. Let's go ahead and click the goggles again, get that back on. It's on the screen right now. So let's see, it's not quite a lot of light in here for the Mini. I think we're going to have to adjust the shutter speed. Slow that down a little bit. There we go. Let's put it on 150. It doesn't matter, I'm not recording Mavic, but there it is right there. All right, it's working now. Okay, now back to the goggles. Okay, so there it is in the screen. You can see what the Mavic Mini is looking at right there. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can even do this. All right, here's my hand. You can see the delay there. So that's how it worked. Yeah, I still got a picture. I'm going to see if I can do it with wearing the goggles. Yeah, there's a pretty good delay there. So if I go 1,002, okay, maybe a one and a half, maybe a 1 second delay there. But there's so much delay between the devices in general because you have a delay between the quad and the controller, and then the controller and the phone, and then the phone to the MiraScreen, and then the MiraScreen to the goggles. So that's like 5 delays there, and it all adds up to be about a second delay. But it shouldn't really matter too much for aerial photography when you're just up in the air and filming, not doing proximity flying or anything. I think it'll work all right, but the picture, I tell you, looks tremendous. So I like that part. Looking at it right now. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now I can see the delay when I'm moving the quad with my hand here. So if I start to move, it's not too bad. If I move slow, it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, that's how it works. But this little adapter here, it's going to need a longer cable because I'm actually bending that when I'm moving around. So I'll probably have to order a longer cable. So a couple of things I noticed about this setup is there are features on the DJI goggles that aren't going to work with the MiraScreen. And that is, the touchpad really isn't going to do too much for you. You can bring up the menus, but you really can't do much with them other than maybe just adjust the brightness and contrast and whatnot. And also a big thing is the head tracking is not going to work because you're going through a different system. You're not using the OcuSync. So those features that you could use to control a drone with this and OcuSync are not going to work when you're using the MiraScreen. All you're going to do is just get the image in here and that's the purpose of the MiraScreen, but you won't be able to control the drone. You'll have to use your phone and your controller for the rest of it, which is certainly doable. Okay, so I hope that helps anybody who wants to use this. So yeah, I'd say this thing's about $36 or something like that for the MiraScreen. And then the cable, I think, cost me about $8, but definitely get one that's longer, that has like a long cable on it that can be flexed instead of this small rigid adapter, which is kind of bending the HDMI port. So yeah, I think that's the key to the whole thing. And I'll probably order a cable before I go and fly it. So I won't be flying it in this video, but maybe in the next video I'll fly with once I get that cable. But I hope this helps. I would probably say I could answer questions, but really it's pretty touch and go for me right now until I use it a little bit and understand it. But yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.